Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not ideal, but I think just powering through it and, pushing through the pain. I think the biggest thing is learning how to play with it, and I think it's been getting better every single week, and, just learning, kind of how to move on it a little bit and, stuff like that. Yeah, I think honestly, coming out of the game, I thought it would hurt worse than it does now, so I feel pretty good right now. No, it's going to take a lot for me, to take myself out of the game. I mean, I knew I was good enough to continue to play, so I really never really thought about it. Obviously, on both plays, Mark did a good job of beating man coverage on the one and finding a hole against zone. And I think the coolest thing about both those plays are, it's something that we worked a bunch during the week, and to see it happen on Saturday was pretty rewarding. Yeah, I think that's kind of how it was in high school. I mean, we had a good receiving core in high school, but obviously, given the type of player he is, there's a lot of times where it's not a bad answer to try and find him, regardless of the route and the coverage. He's going to do a good job of finding a way to get open, and I think you guys see that day in and day out from him. Just how consistent he is. I don't think it really matters what the defense tries to do to him, what route we give him. He's going to find a way to get open, make plays. Yeah, growing up, that was the team I grew up cheering for, going to their games, and so to kind of see it all come full circle, especially playing, like you said, at Rutgers, it's going to be fun. A bunch of family and friends there, and like I said, just seeing it all come full circle is pretty cool.
What does it mean that you get a back in the Super Bowl on Saturday? What does that give you? What does that give you?
Yeah, I think early on, obviously, Mech had a really big impact in the games he played with together, and he did a good job of making plays with the ball in his hand. Obviously, the Notre Dame game, he had a big game there with some clutch plays, and so I think people kind of just assume that we have Marvin, Mech, doesn't really have a big role in the offense, and I don't think that's true at all. I think you saw it, especially early on in the year, exploiting matchups with him, and so to get a guy like that back is huge. And so he's looked really good in practice, and I thought he was gonna be good enough to go last weekend, but I think they just played it safe. So whenever that game comes, when he's finally back out there, I'm excited for it.
Everybody has plays in the game and wish you could do it. That's part of the sport. Coach Day was saying, obviously the first thing for you is a play you wish you had back. When you have a moment like that, what do you try to do with that? What do you try to learn from it? I mean, you watch that piece of film a lot. Do you say, no, I don't want to look at that, I just want to put it behind me? Like, how do you deal with, okay, I know I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, obviously, the only thing, I can do to describe that interception was just a dumb play on my fault. And I think I have to grow from that. And, I think sometimes as, bad as it is, I think the best way to not make a mistake twice is to do it in a moment like that. And obviously, you want to cut down on plays like that and eliminate that because, I cost the team points there. But definitely a learning moment and something that, I think I'll grow from. And, like I said, I think, obviously you don't want to have it happen, especially in a moment like that, but definitely a moment to get better from.
When you're a first-year starting quarterback, it's like trying to stretch the balance. I want to make plays for my team, but I don't want to, push things too far. I would imagine that could be, for a guy who's only started 9 games in his life, something maybe hard to figure out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Coach Day's offense, and Coach Dennis says it all the time, is you're going to get yours if you just continue to follow the rules of the offense, continue to go through your reads, and just trust your eyes and what you see. Big plays are going to happen, and whether that's throwing a drag to Marvin, having him run it in for a touchdown, or throwing a shot down the field, you're going to get yours regardless. And so I think the biggest thing is not pressing for those plays and just letting them happen as the game flows.
After the Rutgers' pass defense has been one of the best in the country. What do you see from them, the challenge is?
Yeah, obviously I think the first thing is they're really well coached, and I think it's a underrated team. Honestly, they're 6-2 for a reason, and they've been playing good football and a talented group too. And so I think when you pair that with Coach Shiano, who's in my eyes one of the better coaches in college football, that's the result. And so we know that it's going to be a big test, especially on the road, and we're going to have to bring our A game.
Cal, are you allowed to at least see if Marvin has a shot almost every play? You understand what I'm saying? I grew up in the era of keystone combos, quarterback and receiver kind of being done together and stuff. But, are you allowed to peek at Marvin on every play, or how does that work?
Yeah, obviously it depends on I think A, the play call, and then B, the coverage. But I said this earlier. I think there's never a time where going to Marvin isn't a great idea, and I think regardless of the coverage and regardless of what route he's running, he's done a really good job all year of finding different ways to get open, and I think he'll continue to do that, and I think that's a credit to the way he watches film, being able to see what the defense is doing and how they're trying to stop him and exploit it. And I think at the same time, he knows, if they want to double him or give him extra attention, it's going to open other people up. And so I think he's done a good job of kind of taking both of those in stride.
Yeah, we saw you kind of hop out. You probably didn't ask this 12 times before I got here, but kind of hop out of last week's game. But was there any way you weren't going back in?
No,
And what drives you in that regard?
Yeah, I knew, it's going to take a lot for, me not to go back in. I knew I felt good enough to continue to play. I think the more time went on, I just kind of started walking on it a little bit more and running on it. Felt better. So obviously in the moment it hurt, but given the circumstances, there's no doubt in my mind that I was going to do that game. Yeah, so obviously trying to take a shot down the field, and the cornerback, he made a good play. Obviously, I have to see him and do a better job of just being safe with the ball and checking it down. But fell off Carnell and jumped in front of the route that Marvin was running. So a look that I hadn't seen, but I think it's just another learning moment and understanding that. You put certain plays on film, teams are going to start to scheme it up a little bit, and I think he made a good play, but I think I just have to be better than that.
How do you guys take it? Did they even register with you guys?
Yeah, obviously, a lot of attention on social media is going to that, whatever. But at the end of the day, we know none of that matters if we don't continue to win. And although it's cool to be the #1 team in the nation, it's November 1st, and just I think the biggest thing is that keeping the main thing, and that's winning. That's stacking these games and continuing to improve. And if we're still the #1 team at the end of the year, then that's the goal.
Your scramble on third down when you hurt your ankle, I thought was one of your better plays of the game. We sort of talked about when deciding when to run and that kind of thing. What did you think of that play? And then it's like you make a good run and this dude falls on your ankle. What do you make of that?
Yeah. So obviously going back and watching the film, we had a little bit of a quick pass called, 3rd and short, trying to get the ball out of my hands and get the first down. And I think Wisconsin had a good call. They zoned it out and dropped out underneath, and I just kind of felt that void right there in the middle of the field. So 3rd down, if I can scramble up and get a few yards to get the first down, that's what I'm going to do. And then obviously when it hit me, it didn't feel great. But I think the biggest thing is just trying to keep us on schedule, and any way I can. If that's tucking my head down and picking up a few yards, that's what I'm going to try to do.
Thank you.
Thanks.